Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Forbidden Land podcast. Not a whole lot of news in this last week, at least not according to what I wrote down, because I guess I didn't write down shit for like the whole week. But there actually was some big news out of the White House. So during just a random old normal day, super chill normal day, somebody approached a White House checkpoint with a gun.
The breaking news, reports of dozens of shots fired at the White House, the Secret Service clearing the White House north lawn, news reporters rushing inside, taking shelter in the briefing room. ABC's senior White House correspondent Selena Wang was outside when this all unfolded. Selena, you are now in the briefing room safe. What are you learning about what happened?
Yeah, well, first of all, the president is actually currently here at the White House.
So if you're wondering, all of the press pool was bunkering in the press room because a lot of these reporters, for those who don't really know, a lot of these reporters will basically like work at the White House in a way. So they're part of the White House press pool. And they pretty much work in like offices, I think underneath this press room. And this reporter was actually outside, and I'll show the video in a minute 'cause she has a video of it. She was actually outside during the shots. So apparently the guy went through the checkpoint, I guess fired a shot off, and Secret Service just fucking like unloaded into him. I'm not super familiar with what actually happened
at the White House. So we were actually taping, getting ready for world news from the White House North Lawn when suddenly we heard what sounded like gunshots near the White House, dozens of them. We immediately got down, then we heard yelling for us to evacuate into the White House briefing room where we are currently holding now. So all of us, as you can see here behind me, we're all doing our live shots from the briefing room instead of outside on the North Lawn where we normally do those live shots. So we sprinted in here. We're holding on the ground. There right now is at least one Secret Service agent who is standing outside as we are locked down in here. We are still awaiting more information.
It is pretty crazy how many fucking people are talking over each other in that room. That would drive me crazy. I don't know if I could do a news report in a room full of people like that. With everybody talking at once. I don't know if I could pull that off.
However, I do want to just read to you, we did just get a statement on social media from the U.S. Secret Service Office of Communications. I'm just going to read this to you, just came up. It says, quote, U.S. Secret Service personnel are on the scene of an officer-involved shooting at 15th Street and Independence Avenue in Washington, D.C. One individual was shot by law enforcement. Their condition is currently unknown. Please avoid the area as emergency crews are responding. So as you can see, we are all just waiting and holding here, awaiting for further information, but for now we are all fine.
So when I originally heard about this, I was like, all right, this dude, fired off a shot, they got him, whatever, like not a big deal. When you hear the audio of it though, my God, dude.
That President Trump has said a deal is close.
Well, I have to use a volume booster. She's using, this is like raw footage that she posted to her Twitter.
That President Trump has said a deal is close, only for the two sides to remain far apart.
No.
Dude, the shots are still going.
That President
Holy
Trump has
shit.
said a deal is close, only for the two sides to remain far apart.
No.
That's so crazy how long those shots lasted for. Like, I didn't realize what a big fucking thing it was until I saw this footage. Let me see if I can find that footage of that one reporter, because there's other reporters that were on the lawn, and there was one reporter who just did not know what was going on. Here we go. Let me see if I can find this. Dude, look at this. I can't tell if this is real or not. Yeah, I guess this is real. Okay, I'm gonna show it.
What is that?
Sounds like
today, but this obviously comes just a couple of weeks after a shooting at the White House.
Dude, how does she not know what's going on? She posted a tweet like making fun of herself.
Doing his own thing.
Oh my god, there's another reporter that was also there who like took cover. Jesus. Yeah, this is her like making light of it. Oh my god. I'm just so shocked at how she didn't know what was going on. So yeah, I don't know what to think about that shooting. This seems like another like one of those things, like, you know, the White House correspondent shooting was even kind of like this, where it's like, yeah, I guess there was like a quote unquote attempt on the president's life, but like, neither of them really made it all that close. You know what I mean? Like, the Butler, Pennsylvania one is the closest it's ever gotten. You know, a bullet whizzing past him and hitting a firefighter in the head. That's pretty damn close. And then, you know, the golf course shooting was not as close. What was his name? Like Ryan Ruth or something like that. That one wasn't nearly as close as the Butler one. So that one was kind of like, yeah, I guess you could count it. But then like this White House Correspondents' Dinner one and the you know, one on the White House lawn, I don't really care. So far, every time I hear reporting on it, I don't really care. I just don't. Like, I don't know. Neither of them got that close. There hasn't been like a legitimate threat in a while, you know. If there's like, you know, like a legitimate attack, and Trump was there and there was like a real chance that he could have gotten hit, then fine, I'll pay attention to it. But this is just like, okay. Speaking of people who are soon to leave the White House, someone who will be leaving on June 30th is National Intelligence Director Tulsi Gabbard. She posted her long-ass boring statement on Twitter. Yeah, I'm not going to read it. I really don't care to. What she did over the last year and a half, who the fuck knows, man? I mean, seriously, who fucking knows? She says it's because, like, her husband's sick. That's why she's resigning. I think she saw the writing on the wall. I think she knew she was going to get fired. You know what I mean? Like, Trump is very clearly trying to boot everybody that's a woman from his administration. And I think she knew that it was coming. I mean, come on. I think that's the real reason why she did this. But what exactly did she do? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I feel like ever since her confirmation, I haven't heard her name that much. And I suppose that's a good thing. That the less I hear about some Trump administration official doing one of the most corrupt things I've ever seen in my fucking life, the less I hear about that, the more safe I feel, I guess. Every day that Trump isn't tweeting about nuking Iran, every day that Scott Bessett's not saying, yeah, Americans can survive on $4 a day, and I'm going to pay Donald Trump personally a lot of money from the Treasury. You know, every day that I don't have to hear shit like that, I guess it's a good day. But yeah, so she's resigning at the end of the month. And it's really crazy. We went a whole year with like no firings, no resignations. And then like starting this year, everybody's jumping the ship. Maybe they know the Nuremberg trials are coming. But everybody's either getting fired or resigning. I just can't. I don't have much of an opinion on Tulsi Gabbard. I don't like her. I think she's a fake ass grifter. Fucking moron. I mean, come on now. She's literally Mrs. I used to be liberal, but the liberals are too radical for me now, and so I'm gonna suck up to the right. And then, oh, look at that! What a coincidence! I'm the national intelligence director. Whoa. That's literally her whole shtick, is she grifted her ass into the White House. And then she leaves, bro. She gave it up. She literally sold her soul and then gave it up. Maybe that's part of it. She sold her soul to be a right-wing grifter, and now her husband's so sick she has to take care of him. What a shame. Every wish comes with a price, and the monkey's paw curled one of its fingers, so... rests in piss, Tulsi Gabbard. I'm sure she'll be replaced by some moron that's just like her. I don't know if I've talked about much how like what's her face? See, I don't even remember her name anymore. I just picture this really like makeup covered plastic surgery victim. What's her name? Kristi Noem. I don't think I've talked about much how Markwayne Mullen replaced her. I think I talked about it initially, but the dude doesn't do jack shit. Like, he just stands in the background of press conferences where he's like standing off to the side during like major events. You just don't hear from him, which kind of shows you what a clout shark demon Kristi Noem was. You know, it is kind of nuts that you just don't hear jack shit from Markwayne Mullen. I think he had like an embarrassing moment during a hearing not that long ago, but other than that, it's been like radio silence from him. All right, I want to talk about... Let me cover this first, and then we'll talk about the big thing. So I talked about last week that Abigail Spanberger vetoed a couple of very popular bills. What I didn't know is that she vetoed like a whole fucking list of bills. She vetoed the collective bargaining bill, like we talked about. But now she's talking about Democrats should halt redistricting efforts, that they should just give up on redistricting. She's talking about how, she vetoed a bill that would have restricted ICE agents at courthouses, schools, and hospitals. A bill that would have protected voters from illegitimate purges from the voter rolls. 2 bills that would have strengthened protections for defendants with mental illness. A law that would have established a class action lawsuit statute for the first time in Virginia. A law that would have capped the use of private funds by election officials. A law that would have, she vetoed a law that would have legalized the sale of marijuana in the state of Virginia, folks. In the state of Virginia. What the fuck are we doing here, Democrat Spanberger? Why are we vetoing laws about legalizing weed? What year is it? Why have we been fighting for the legalization of weed for so long? And she also vetoed a bill that would have lowered prescription drug prices. Folks, what neoliberal hell are we in? What the fuck happened? They like flipped a switch in her and now she's a neoliberal corpo dembot. That's gonna be like, beep boop, I can't pass progressive legislation, beep boop. What the fuck? The state legislature gets all this shit done and she's just on a tear of vetoing shit. I wonder what her, what is he, the AG? Jay Jones? I wonder if he's gonna have a flip. He's the dude that was talking about like killing Republicans in the street. I'm pretty sure. When is he gonna have his neoliberal flip? Never? I mean, Abigail Spanberger kind of fits the definition of the person that he hates. With her doing all of this, so I wonder what he thinks. I don't think he can be fired, right? Since he was elected to the position, I think he just holds it. I think he can actually challenge the governor. Yeah, so gross. So gross. So we had this giant blue wave in November, and this centrist liberal steps in and is like, yeah, I'm just gonna veto all this good shit that y'all fought for. I know y'all finally got like a Democrat in office, but collective bargaining? What are you, a communist? Voter protections during a time when voter rights are being trampled on by the federal government? Nah, y'all don't need that. Speaking of MAGA in the federal government, in MAGA, in Trump, in MAGA. My last thing before I get to the big topic. A MAGA commentator went on Fox News. I have never seen this guy in my life. I don't know where they keep finding these guys. I don't know if they have some kind of factory where they manufacture them. It's really bizarre. It's honestly kind of freaking me out that we just have this endless supply of dudes who look like this. But this guy named Cam Higbee, who is a producer on PragerU, went on Fox News, I guess, to talk about Israel, saying that people who post pro-Palestine content are radical. Yeah, pro-Palestine content, radical people, apparently. This guy went on Fox News to talk about it. PragerU producer, by the way, so he's seasoned in the right-wing commentary game. He should know what's going on, right? And he should be okay with speaking to such a large audience. I mean, he already kind of does, being a producer on PragerU and whatnot. So why did he go on Fox News to do this?
This is all intentional. It's Hamas's plan. The problem is that their plan is essentially to spread this propaganda throughout the internet by using... Sorry, guys.
All right, let's go to RA's Cam. Get yourself together there, my friend.
That's kind of a brutal comment from Laura Ingraham. I don't think he's coming back. I don't think he's going to be coming back. He's over here like, they're posting this propaganda to... I want to know, like, what, like, divine, you know, godly interference intervened there and was like, actually, shut the fuck up.
The launching of missiles from densely populated urban
Oh yeah, he goes for round 2. He collects himself, quote unquote, but then he goes back for round 2.
areas like the Gaza Strip. It essentially, they want people to see what is happening. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Ari, I want to get to this politically cynical move.
This is...
If you're wondering what this is, and we encountered this about a month ago, when the former candidate for Pennsylvania 3, Dr. Ala Stanford, Jesus Christ, I butchered that. Ayla Stanford, when she went on that interview and was asked, "Hey, you said you want to, get rid of ICE. What do you plan to replace them with?" Which, when my answer was like, it's an administrative position. It should be handled that way, not with like a military force. It should just be a series of handing out paperwork. It's not like you send a paramilitary group to someone's house to serve a subpoena. It'd be it's same way. You just send federal agents to a house to serve up papers, give them a deadline, or give them a pathway to, to correct it. POV if the government actually functioned properly and didn't fucking hate people and actually served your interests and not corporate interests. Wow. But her answer was like stumbling all over the place. You might as well have asked her to explain advanced quantum physics. The way she just like clammed up and was like, well, I don't know. What if we, I don't know, poop my pants? Like, she had no answer for it. And this is the same candidate who is questionably pro-Israel, like clearly the Democratic establishment's favored opponent against Chris in that race, which is why she lost, by the way. She sucks so bad that's why she lost, was because it was obvious. She holds zero moral value outside of what her campaign tells her to believe. This guy is like every right-wing commentator, every right-wing influencer. When the cameras are off, they're like, whew, another hard day at the office. And then they go and do their moderate or centrist lib shit. Everybody's a liberal. All these guys, they all act the same way, where off camera in private, he's probably broing it up with his boys, and he doesn't give a fuck about any of this. And he goes on Fox News, and they're like, what do you think about pro-Palestinian content dominating TikTok? And he's like, well, this is their way of showing just and dude had a fucking panic attack because he doesn't know what to say, because he doesn't actually believe in anything. And these young as fuck, all these right-wing people nowadays are young as shit, and they all are stupid. They don't know what they're talking about. They come up and they're like, "Yeah, I've been watching Ben Shabibo for a few years now, and I've been listening to old ass David Prager, chirping and chiming about geopolitical politics," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know what I'm talking about because I heard Dave Rubin talk about the Hungarian election, or I heard Dave Rubin give a talk on Orban, and now I'm completely knowledgeable in the history and geopolitical situation going on in Hungary." And then they go on Fox News because they're, the PR at PragerU is like, "Yeah, send a young guy out there. Nobody cares about David Prager." They send Cam Higbee or whoever that is on there, and he doesn't know what he's doing, and he's like, "Yeah, I think well, I don't know." It'd be more commendable if he just said, "I don't know, I don't really care." That would be infinitely more commendable than him attempting to answer and then fucking vomiting in his own mouth. Let's watch that again. I really want to watch it again. It's starting to rain again. Holy shit. It has rained every day this week and almost every day last week.
This is all intentional. It's Hamas's plan. The problem is that their plan is essentially to spread this propaganda throughout the internet by using... Sorry, guys.
All right, let's go to RA's Cam. Get yourself together there, my friend.
My favorite part is her, like, scolding him. Cam, get yourself together, my friend. Cutting away from him immediately and scolding him. Look at how unsure he is.
Plan. The problem is that their plan is essentially to spread this propaganda throughout the internet by using... Sorry, guys.
It's really not hard to answer that question from his perspective, by the way. What do you think about pro-Palestine content on TikTok? Well, I think it's trying to spread let me put this up on the screen so it doesn't look like I'm actually saying this. Well, I think it's they're trying to spread, propaganda in favor of Hamas because they're anti-Semitic. And they hate the West. They want these radical terrorists to take over Israel and kill all the Jews there. That's what they want, folks. Like, there's your answer. Guy. Cam Higgins. Cam Higgins. I want to know where that name comes from. I want to know where that boy's from, because he's in California. He's in liberal California. I can't do the raspy voice anymore, by the way, because it hurts my throat. He's in liberal California. I want to know where he gets that Southern boy name. Cam Higgins. Where does that come from? Oh, not Higgins. Higby. Fuck. Cam Higby. Where do you get that name from, son? That name ain't from these parts, is it? You're not telling me you willingly went to California, did you? I actually do want to know who this guy is, real quick. Little side tangent. I would like to see more about this guy. Who is he? And why did he throw up in his mouth? Let's see. American conservative. He's 26. Oh my God. I'm getting so old. Oh my God. I'm only 2 years younger than that fucker, man. And I called him young. I said, son. Son, where'd you get that name? That's what I said. What? What? Dude, this guy. He is known for filming political protests, conducting street debates on college campuses. Gross. I hate every right-winger that does that shit. And serving as a member of the Pentagon Press Corps in the second Trump admin. Oh my God. Does it not say where he's from? Dude, why is every right-winger like this unknown cryptid that came out of like a lab? He's from New York? Gouverneur, New York. That's where he's from. In 2020, he was a member of the conservative Hype House. Brother, come on. Oh my God. So he was like 19 or 20. The conservative Hype House. It really is everything the conservatives do. It's just a response to shit that that left-wingers and liberals do. Oh, there's something called the hype house. Let's make the conservative hype house. Why? Who asked for that? The fuck? All right, let's talk about the new corruption meta. Now, in the past, I have talked about Donald Trump and his corrupt little schemes and how, you know, like, while they seem small, they build up because they slowly erode our democracy. And I said back then, I said this is going to slowly build up to something big. He's going to do something serious, and they're not going to push back on him because they're so used to being servile, falling in line Trumpers. Like, all the Democrats are so used to being these servile little slaves to the Trump administration and not pushing back against them where it matters. Like Chuck Schumer being like, when the big beautiful bill was in Congress, if you remember, Chuck Schumer being like, big win, guys, we got a big win. I got them in the Senate to change the name of the bill. We will win. We will win. It's no longer called the big beautiful bill. It's now House Bill, whatever numbers it came after it. And at the time I was like, wow, good win, guys. But I said that it was going to build up to something big where it was going to matter and they would have to do something about it, and they wouldn't. And what do you know? Something big has come. So Trump decided a while back that he was going to file a lawsuit against the federal government. I think specifically the DOJ. And as president, that essentially just means he's suing himself. You might think like, oh, like a judge would throw that out. You know, you can't do that. And it seemed like a judge was going to, until the two parties involved, really just the one party fighting itself, involved, got behind closed doors and came to a settlement agreement. Now think about what that means. Donald Trump settled with Donald Trump. In the real world, folks, you can't sue yourself as far as I'm aware and then settle on some dollar amount. Like, I don't think you can start a company and then sue your own company to extract wealth from it, right? So why is the president allowed to sue the government, which is essentially himself, and then negotiate the terms of a settlement with himself? And this has created a $1.8 billion slush fund. $1.8 billion slush fund.
The House and the Senate are leaving town until June. Why? Because of a Republican revolt against the White House. This after the Justice Department announced this week a $1.8 billion fund to compensate people who say they've been victimized by the Justice Department under Joe Biden. And that could potentially include January 6th rioters.
I do not support the weaponization fund as it has been described.
But I just don't know how this puppy dog will work.
This is bad policy, it's bad timing, and it's bad politics.
Todd Blanche, the acting attorney general, came and met with Republican senators for nearly 2 hours on Thursday afternoon, and he was grilled, I'm told, about this fund, many of them demanding answers, many of them unsatisfied as they left that meeting, and many of them saying they could not vote to advance a bill dealing with immigration enforcement, tens of billions of dollars that Donald Trump demanded to be on his desk by June 1st unless there were changes to that DOJ program.
I think it's a gutless move by the Senate. I think they ought to be ashamed of themselves.
But are you worried about November?
Of course. I'm very much worried about it. I'm worried about our country. I'm afraid we could lose everything.
Now I asked Speaker Johnson whether or not the White House...
He's just afraid he'll go to jail. He's really like, I don't get why we can't pass this fucking yokel. I don't get why we can't pass this bill. It's a disgrace. Why can't the president have a $1.8 billion slush fund at his disposal that he can divvy out? to the January Sixers and to his friends and to himself and to his family. Like, seriously? Are we serious? He's like, I'm afraid we could lose everything. Yeah, dog, you could lose everything. We're putting your ass in jail. In a perfect world, the Democrats win the midterms and put your ass in jail. They should put all of your asses in jail, is what they should do. 100%. They should put your ass in jail. Not simply, pass a couple bills or whatever. I'm saying they should put yo ass in jail. So,
drop this fund in order to get this bill passed. He sidestepped that question and also sidestepped the question about whether January 6 rioters should have access to that taxpayer money. Why don't you just drop the weaponization fund?
It's not my call. We're waiting to see what the Senate sends us. They're working through that. So.
But it's obviously a problem, political problem. I mean, you guys are leaving town without passing this major priority.
I'll process whatever the Senate sends me, and they need obviously a little bit more time to build consensus. So that's what they've decided to do. So.
But the way the White House has handled this has caused enormous frustration among Republicans who wanted to get that immigration bill passed. One Senator, Ron Johnson, told me,
I'm convinced.
It's obviously a problem, political, to that taxpayer.
I'm convinced that Mike Johnson walks this way because 24/7, he's got Trump's dick and balls shoved so far up his ass that it makes it uncomfortable to walk. That's what I'm convinced of. Mike Johnson is throating Trump's dick so hard it makes it hard for him to actually take a stance on anything. Hey, Speaker of the House, the guy that leads the House right now, what do you think about this bill? Are you going to reject it? And actually follow like the rule of law and standards and ethics in this country? Are you actually going to like have his backbone here? He's like, well, the Senate's not done writing it up. I can't read the drafts. I don't know what the bill's going to be about. I don't know what they're going to send me. Oh my God. That's what I'm saying. He waddles like that because he's got Trump's entire fist in his ass. Fucking spineless coward. He can't have a spine because he needs all that room for that fucking dick.
Problem. I mean, you guys are leaving town without passing this major priority.
I'll process whatever the Senate sends me, and they need.
I'll process Trump's tongue in my mouth. I'll process whatever Daddy Trump gives me. If you know what I'm saying.
Obviously, a little bit more time to build consensus, so that's what they've decided to do. So.
But the way the White House has handled this has caused enormous frustration among Republicans who wanted to get that immigration bill passed. One Senator, Ron Johnson, told me it was a galactic blunder by the White House.
Galactic,
the House and the Senate.
Galactic blunder. Ooh. A galactic blunder, you say? Now, what are the details of this slush fund? This is the most... Legal Eagle actually made a video about this. This is the most mad I've ever seen him, by the way. They made a video about this, and I'll show a little bit of it. But what are the details of this slush fund?
Flagrantly, staggeringly, obscenely corrupt thing that Trump has ever done in office. I have in my hand what purports to be the settlement of Trump's claims against the IRS for the disclosure of his tax agreements. That is a lie. That is a fraud on the American people. What Trump is doing here is creating an illegal fund of billions of dollars to pay out whomever he chooses, including and especially the traitors who breached the Capitol and tried to overturn the election to turn it over in Trump's favor. My blood is boiling. This is a new low for this administration. And this is an administration that has been rife with corruption and illegality, but this is probably the worst thing that they have done so far. Now, suffice to say, the president cannot take taxpayer money and give it to whomever he wants. But this unbelievably, ironically named anti-weaponization fund is exactly that. He's going to pay out his friends, his family, and domestic terrorists. And that's just who we know about. I'm frankly running out of adjectives. This is theft. This is corruption. This is treason. If he gets away with this, there are simply no more limits, at least with respect to what Trump can do with taxpayer money. If he can pay out billions with a B to his cronies without any real oversight, I don't know. Are we done as a country?
That is fair. We've talked about this before. Trump doesn't have the power of the purse. Congress does. That's laid out in the Constitution. And it is very bizarre how he keeps finding new ways to pay people off. Like Kristi Noem funneling money to this shell corporation that she made to act as an ad agency, or in this case, Trump creating a federal compensation fund to funnel taxpayer money into his pockets, or his affiliates' pockets as well. Where is the limit there? Where's the limit on what Trump can spend money on? Because he's going to keep pushing the line. He has gotten his shoot somebody in New York moment. He has broken the law to the furthest extent you could probably go in this field. And the next thing would be for him to kill somebody with his own hands on camera. So, what do we even do with this?
Best, this is Orban-esque, but this is frankly verging into Putin territory. And of course, the corruption cherry on top of the corruption sundae is that Trump is personally ending and forbaying all audits and suits into his businesses and his family's finances. Oh, and the government is issuing him an apology as well. Wonderful. Now we're talking about this as if it is a...
That's such a narcissistic thing to do. God, dude. Oh, my God. Suing yourself and then having your own government issue an apology to you. That's pathetic.
Legal settlement to the claims that he had against the government that he has control over. But it is not. This is not a settlement. This has about as much to do with a legal settlement as a shoehorn has to do with a French horn. I'm reluctant to even talk about the legalities or the legal aspects of this because there's nothing legal about this. There was no process here. There was no judicial review. There was no decision by a fact finder or a jury. This is simply Trump taking power and paying it out to whomever he wants to. That being said, the fig leaf that they are using to cover up their own manifest corruption and illegality is that this was related to a demand that Trump had for $10 billion related to the 2020 disclosure of his tax returns by a contractor at the IRS. Now, we are in the process of writing and filming a video that goes into much more detail about the legal aspects and really more relevant here, the illegal aspects of what's happening. That's going to come out in a few days. But suffice to say, Trump's suit was unbelievably bogus. Again, you can sue anyone for anything and claim that you're entitled to however much money you want. But in that case, in the best of circumstances, a disclosure of those kind of tax returns would be limited to $1,000 per disclosure. And the statute of limitations is...
All right. You get it. He sued himself for damages because the IRS released his tax returns. The IRS. Somebody in the IRS did it. And that's why he's all been out of shape. And he wants $10 billion for that. Folks. Fellas, is it legal for you to sue yourself and get $1.8 billion? I'm wondering how much longer people can take this. Are they going to wait till the midterms to do something about it? Or are people going to revolt soon? Because this is pretty ridiculous. I mean, he's doing stuff that, like, would have made, like, Ronald Reagan shit his pants. He's doing shit that makes a Nixon want to shit his pants. Not gonna lie. So, I just think this shit's so crazy. And so corrupt and so blatantly just disgusting. Like, if Obama, I keep saying this, if Obama did this, they would have murdered him. If Biden did this, they would have impeached him. Yeah. If Trump had done this in the first term, they would have impeached him. Not gonna lie. They would have impeached him then. So. Well, I didn't really have anything else. So what's up, guys? We have some time. We have some time to kill. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Dane's Reading Corner. I'm obviously still in the process of moving. I mean, seriously, if it's not obvious. The boxes. I got nothing. I had a really long day at work today, so I'm kind of brain dead. So, sorry. I know that we're gearing up for an invasion of Cuba, potentially. I don't know, he keeps flip-flopping on that. Whether or not we'll actually invade Cuba or not. And then I know there was some other stuff. I know Scott Bessett's speaking right now about something. That famous leftist political commentator Hassan Piker got... Well, Fox News reported that he was served a subpoena. He says he's never actually received anything that confirms that. But he said that the article claims that he's getting sued by the federal government for aiding and abetting a terrorist organization, aka Cuba, in their eyes. So that's pretty nuts that they're just like punishing and prosecuting leftists. So, yeah. Fun stuff for our future. Yeah, that's it. I got nothing else. Oh, man, I'm sore. All right. If you want to support this podcast, you can go to patreon.com/forbiddenlandpod. Or if you want, you can go to our merch shop and buy some shirts. If you want to listen to this podcast audio only, you can go to Apple Podcasts. Let me actually give an official list of everything that we're on. We're on quite a lot. All right, let's see what we're on platform-wise. Distribution. Okay, we're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify, Amazon Music, Deezer for the French, Podcast Index. We are not on iHeartRadio. And I guess that's it. I know we're on the Samsung Fridge. There used to be an option for the Samsung app, actually, and I don't see it anymore. That is weird. Maybe it's on there. Who knows? I hope you can access it on the Samsung Fridge. That would be a real shame if you couldn't. So, all right. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Real quick, let me see. if... Oh, I can't even access Samsung Music. Oh well. That's it. Peace.